Hi, my name is Bill Davis. I'm the co-chapter lead of NWSOFA, which stands for Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action. We are an indivisible chapter, one of 6,500 across the U.S. We were founded in 2012, right after the election for Barack Obama, when 17 of us who have been making phone calls every Tuesday and Thursday night gathered at a Panera Bread and said, what are we going to do next? We decided to create a progressive group and focus on an issue or two. Fast forward 11 years, we now have 5,200 members. We have 10 issue groups, and we have 26 or 27, I think it's 26, chapter lead or issue leads that concentrate on getting these issues presented on a monthly basis. Recently, I was asked to join a group to talk about the challenges that we face as an indivisible group. The only challenge I could think of was maintaining our membership and growing our membership for a very important election that is coming up. And the person that was asking me this said, well, how do you grow membership in a non-election year? And I had to reflect on some of the things that we are doing to bring people together and to show the importance of working on social issues, particularly progressive social issues. Just this last week, we finished with our 11th annual picnic. We had 85 people show up, 17 were candidates for one thing or another, or were elected officials. Many of them have been coming every year to these picnics and meeting folks as they were coming in and out. It was a great way to have people have enjoyable conversation, enjoy a great day, good food, and above all, hear from people that were genuinely interested about their needs and what they looked for in a candidate. The second one was something that Indivisible had brought to us a year ago. Those are called Indivisible Gathers, where we don't talk politics. We just get together and have pizza. And we do that once a month. And Indivisible basically pays for that pizza for us, Indivisible National. We get 15 to 20 people, usually 3 or 4 brand new folks that just wanted an environment where they could come out and meet progressive people. Now, a progressive person is a Democrat usually. They're fairly liberal. But what separates us from Democrats and liberals, there really isn't any separation. We are all united. As President Biden says, we're united to grow the economy and prosperity from the middle out and from the bottom up. I had to reflect also on other things that we do. We had a pandemic and we had a lockdown. And pretty soon we weren't able to meet in libraries, we weren't able to meet for rallies. We had to find a way to communicate with our members. Zoom was coming out at that time. We embraced Zoom. We embraced a digital way to meet members and to see them. While not perfect, it gave us a great way to grow our membership. One of the most important things is we no longer had to worry about how long it took people to drive from their house to a library. So our membership has grown about 15% now outside of our boundaries in our areas. Chicago, all of Illinois. We even have a fellow that joins us from Bolivia almost every other night. Every morning, Monday through Friday, we have coffee and conversation. Small group gets together to talk about stuff. It could be a baseball score. It could be a presidential indictment. It could be what the jobs and the job numbers are. Every Friday, we have happy hour where we talk about stuff. It tends to be more happy stuff. It's a collection of whatever happened during the week. And it's amazing in these news cycles how much happens in a given week. We have 10 issue groups. My job is very easy. I organize people that organize issues. And we have some great ones. We're constantly, every year, replacing 1 or 2 people as they move out. But it is very interesting to see how ordinary folks that tell me, well, I don't know how to lead something. And 3 or 4 months later, they are leading insightful meetings, an hour to 2 hours long, about key issues. The first one was gun violence prevention. Shortly after we became an organization, and we were called NWSOFA, Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action, Sandy Hook happened. That became our first issue meeting. We gathered and said, what are we going to do about this? We took the approach to analyze, and we did for a couple of months. We overanalyzed everything. Then we decided analyzing wasn't enough. We had to go into action. And we found that we had the courage to make signs. They weren't the prettiest, but they were signs. And we were able to hold them up on street corners. And the most amazing thing happened as people went past us, they beeped. Oh yeah, every once in a while somebody would holler out something negative. But people in general showed their support. Our rallies and our meetings at street corners grew, and so did our meetings in person. And we decided that we had to do a format on every meeting. We would invite a guest lecturer. We would present certain facts and data. We would then encapsulate some of the most current laws that were ready to be enacted or were being voted on in the state of Illinois. And we would cycle through that every meeting. Each one of our groups now, all 10 of them, have a core group of about 200 to 500 folks. Well, they don't all attend. I'm happy if we get a screen full of 25 to 50 folks that show up on a Zoom meeting these days, or will show up when we have a hybrid meeting. But what's important is those 25 or 50 people leave with information that they didn't have before and can articulate in a discussion with other folks why these issues are important. So gun violence prevention was our very first. And while it has been frustratingly slow to get action, we, NWSOFA, and many other groups like us, have come together and now in Illinois have elected officials that have passed great gun laws. We have a lot more to pass. Recently, the governor signed the bill prohibiting the sale of an AR-15, large magazines, and these are just the tip of the iceberg of common sense gun violence protection issues. Another phenomenon that we've noticed is that groups like ours are starting to come together over the last couple of years. Not just come together, but work together. We share memberships. We support each other. And when we have a big action to take, whether it's in Springfield, whether it's downtown Chicago, or out in the burbs, our numbers are multiplied because we have more people to come in. Our second issue team was focused around Barack Obama's Obamacare, as it became, the Affordable Care Act. And it was many, many meetings, a lot of work, a lot of phone calls to people because there was so much disinformation out there about what it was going to do. We got it passed. And today, literally tens of millions of people have affordable care in the US. Our third group was on immigration. It was called at that time a comprehensive immigration reform issue. And we worked night and day to bring people together from various communities, folks that were new to the United States, folks that had been here for many years, folks that recently had become citizens, to discuss what we needed to do, particularly in the Senate, to pass that bill. It never did get passed. We whittled away, we got some protections, we got some things that were done, but we are still working to get immigration reform package. It will not be comprehensive because there's so much political backlash, but it will be a reform package. We moved on from there to social diversity, and then that morphed into social accountability. That morphed into a big area of social justice. And we combined all those areas seeking justice for people that maybe don't look like me, or maybe they do look like me. Maybe they have a disability of some type. And each time we would get one volunteer leader out that would take on that role, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. We've had as many as 4. It's an amazing thing to see leaders stand up, take control, and become experts in these areas. So after social justice, about 5 years ago, we started a Stand With Women group. And that's pretty self-explanatory. We started with the ERA, and through our work and many other groups, we got the ERA passed in Illinois. Still isn't passed nationally, but we got it passed in Illinois. And today, the Stand With Women group still champions the ERA. They still champion fair wages for men and women. But today, a broader battle is waging, and that is, I'm sure as we all know, it is the right for a woman to determine her future. And that is a battle that we have won in Illinois, and it seems like it'll be the major election issue in 2024, women's right to choose. And that's important. And I'm a guy saying those words, but most of our leads are women, and they all understand, and they'll tell me straight out what it means to them. So from there, we added a team that I enjoy really working with. It's called our Fiscal and Economic Team Meeting. We decided a few years back that we really had to have a solid foundation in everything we talked about as to what it was going to cost, how it was going to affect the economy of the U.S., how it was going to affect the budgets and the deficits. Today we have 2 top leaders and a core group of probably 12 people that assist them in creating a monthly 2-hour meeting that looks at all levels of economic and fiscal in our economy. And sometimes we talk about the world, sometimes we talk a little broader, but it is an amazing group, and it does serve as a foundation for just about every group when they start talking about an issue of what is this going to cost us? What's it going to cost the U.S. taxpayers? One of our newest groups was our Restore Our Democracy group. We call them ROD. Originally, it was set up to champion anti-gerrymandering across the U.S. And they did a great job focusing, identifying, and educating our members. But they have morphed. They have grown out of that. They not only talk about the issue of gerrymandering, they talk about the issues of voting, vote by mail, various ways, new techniques in voting. They'll talk about many different areas. Recently, they had a special on how important teaching civics in the U.S. is. And then they followed that up a couple weeks later, doing a comprehensive review what an AR-15, that's the weapon that's used by the U.S. military, what it does when a shooting occurs in a classroom. We had high attendance and a lot of interest in those. Another side of our ROD group is our Combating Disinformation group. About 2 years ago, that group formed under ROD, focusing primarily on disinformation that was happening at school board meetings, local school board meetings. And we had some of our highest attendance as people joined because they were seeing disinformation coming out at school board meetings, and they needed to know how to combat that. We applied the same principles that we do with everything. We identified the problem, we educated our members, we got the real facts and information out, and then we acted and we participated. And we have a group that attends every month, D211, which is the largest school board in the state of Illinois. It's located right over here in Palatine. They are there championing the causes and watching for disinformation and supporting our school board members. One group that I didn't mention was our climate group. And actually our climate group evolved very early. Climate change has evolved as we were worried primarily about overheating, then climate change, and then now it is climate action because we have to act now. Last night we had people from 10 different states, 2 different countries on a Zoom call. We had a guest speaker from CUB, a Citizens Utility Board, which I was surprised at the amount of information that he was able to share with us, where current legislation stands, how much different the southern part of the state of Illinois is from the northern part, based on their reliance on carbon-based power, their reliance on nuclear, and what was being done in these areas. So it really has come full circle. Now we have a 10th group out there, actually 10 and a half, I should put it out there, and it's educating the youth of the country. A little bit more difficult because as we work with people in high schools every 4 years, they are all gone and we have a new group. They are very interested in two areas particularly. One is gun violence because it affects them. Two is climate change. And I can tell you that they are not happy with us, the older generation, because we didn't fix it. And it's all falling on them. We are working with them, and particularly, we are trying to get them to be registered, to vote, join groups like ours across the country, and participate in the elections. Those are the groups of NWSOFA. I have not mentioned LGBTQ plus IA because we had a group and we got it passed in Illinois. All indivisible groups had come together, rallied at Springfield, and to the surprise of everybody, about 5 years ago, Illinois passed a bill allowing for people to marry who they want to marry, love who they want to love. It's an amazing thing. So that group has kind of passed. We may have to bring them back as there's a pushback going on from some of the very red states. But these things we will accomplish. Now, I mentioned that that is our snowflake. You can imagine a snowflake, and every flake of a snowflake, there's an issue group out there. Well, we have twin snowflakes. The other side of that snowflake is what we call our communications team. And for everything you can think of, whether it is a website, whether it is YouTube, whether it's this video that I'm talking to, whether it is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or now Threads, and I shouldn't say Twitter, I should say X. We need to be on all these platforms. We need to be communicating consistent messages, and the whole communications team, of which 6 of our volunteers work to that level. As a group, what do we need? We need people to be involved, yes, but we need leaders to step up. We need you. If you've ever thought, how can I do something about gun violence, climate change? How do I do something about the economy, about gerrymandering, about voting registration? All these things that'll go through your mind at a certain time. One of the things to do is do what our leadership teams has done. They volunteered, not enthusiastically. They were always a little hesitant, everybody, including me. But once you learn that you're helping people and your membership understand the issues, and today we're not just helping our members understand the issues, but we're helping them to discern what is disinformation and what is actionable information. As I said in the beginning, my name is Bill Davis. I'm the co-chapter lead of NWSOFA. Join our groups, stop by a meeting for 10 minutes, an hour, join the conversation at the end where you can kind of free form and get to know people. And then if you like what you see, become an active lead. Create your own issue lead, your own issue group. Well, thank you.